Well, this time of the year is both my favorite time of the year, and it's also my least favorite time of the year. It's my favorite time of the year because, well, we get to celebrate Christmas, right? We get to celebrate the good news that God came into this world to bring us his salvation in Jesus Christ. And friends, as a result, you and I as Christians, we celebrate this good news during the season of Christmas. It's my favorite time of the year. But you know what? The reason why it's also my least favorite time of the year is because for 25 days, all day long, nonstop, the Hallmark Channel plays its Christmas movies. Now, if you've been around here for a minute, you know that I am not really a fan of Hallmark Channel movies. And the reason I'm not a fan is because every single movie is practically the exact same storyline, isn't it? I mean, you know how this goes, right? This young woman moves from her big corporate job in the city, and she moves back to her small hometown, and she starts her own business, and one day she's in the shop, she's up on the ladder, and she's fixing some things, and all of a sudden she loses her balance, and out of the blue, this handsome guy is there to catch her. And wouldn't you know, it's not just some random guy, it's the guy she knew from her childhood. The guy she went to school with, and they start to have some small talk, and by the end of it, he asks her out on a date, and then they go on that date, which so happens to be Christmas, and they go out to eat, and they practically fall in love during the meal, and then they walk outside, it's dark, they get real close to each other, and they look each other in the eyes, and all of a sudden it begins to snow. And as soon as it snows, they go in for the kiss. Right? Same story every single time. Oftentimes the very same actors. The only thing that's different is the setting, right? I mean, like in one movie, they're at a ski resort. Another movie, they're at a soup kitchen. Another movie, they're at a cabin in the woods. The setting changes, but the storyline is practically the same every single time. Now, just so you know, while I've been hating on these movies, at the very same time, I've also been trying to figure them out. Because many of you, man, you love these movies. Like even Pastor Paul, he can't get enough of these Hallmark Channel Christmas movies. And so over the years, I've tried to figure out, why do these movies resonate with so many people? And you know what, throughout the years, one of the things that I've often heard is that people like these movies because they're safe. In other words, they don't have to worry about violence and sex and cursing. The idea is that there's so much garbage out there in the world today, and at least with Hallmark Channel movies, you don't have to deal with any of that stuff. It's safe. But you know what? The number one thing that I hear almost every single time is that people like these movies because whatever conflict there is, it gets resolved, right? In other words, there's a happy ending. Everything works out in the end, and there's peace amongst the people in the movie. You know what, that kind of peace kind of jogs you for a moment because you're thinking, well, why does it resonate in such a way? But people enjoy that type of peace. Now, just so you know, I think many of us, we kind of wish that our lives were like a Hallmark Channel Christmas movie. Not that we want our lives to be wildly predictable and filled with bad acting, but I think many of us deep down, we just want everybody to be happy. We just want everything to go okay. We just want everybody to get along. We don't want the conflict. We don't want the division. We don't want the tension. We just want peace. You know what, friends? Perhaps this is one of the things that's so appealing about Hallmark Channel movies. Because when you and I look in the real world, and when we look at our own lives, we don't see the peace that we see in those movies. We want that peace. We desire that peace, but yet that's just not our reality, is it? I mean, our lives are not scripted. We can't just snap our fingers and make it snow and all of a sudden everybody loves each other. I mean, that'd be great if we could do that, but that's just not real life. You know, friends, our desire for peace is at the very core of who God created us to be. When you go back to the very beginning, when God created the heavens and the earth, he created a world of peace. And the very first humans, Adam and Eve, they lived within that peace. They had peace with God. They had peace with creation. All they knew was peace. But you remember what happened one day? Adam and Eve decided that they were going to bring an end to that peace. They decided that they were going to do the one thing that God told them not to do. And friends, when that happened, when they ate from that tree, peace on earth was shattered into 1,000,000 pieces. Gone was the peace between God and humans. Gone was the peace between humans and creation. All of a sudden, a world that had only known peace had now become infected with sin. And friends, we know this with viruses. All it takes is a single infection, and before you know it, it spreads throughout the entire world. You see, as people, we have this deep desire for peace at our very core, and yet we find ourselves living in a world that's infected by sin.